Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore trees. Dream a little dream of me. Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. It's a tutorial for that song. You recognized it quite probably. It's Dream a Little Dream of Me. And it's not a very recent song. It's from 1931, but we're still playing it in C, which luckily is easy enough for the ukers that we are. And in this tutorial we're going to have a look, of course, at how to strum it, how to find the right rhythm, and to play all these interesting chords. We're also going to have a look at how to play the melody solo, so we can have this musical interlude towards the end of the song. And that'll sound like this. Etc. Well, not quite like this. I was adding a bit in there. It's not too hard and it's really fun to play, so we're going to have a look at that. And before we get started, I really must extend my thanks, and maybe your thanks too, actually, to the patrons of these ukulele tutorials. It takes me hours and hours to make these, and there are some very kind-hearted people who are helping me make more and who are funding these lessons, so a big thanks to them. And if you want to become one of the patrons also of these tutorials, then you can jump to the patron of Ukulele Road Trips. Okay, let's get started with these 4 chords. And the first one is a C. So with this one you'll hear if you're properly tuned. If you're not, then you need to properly tune yourself. C and then a B7. We take the index, put it all across the 2nd frets, and add our middle finger on the 2nd string 3rd fret, just above the index really. So C, B7, and then A flat 7. The little B means a flat, and it's actually 1, 3, 2, 3. So it's not difficult at all, but it's just maybe a bit unusual. So 1, 3, 2, 3 with all these fingers. And if you just take the index away and slide everything down one little step, oh, there you go. You've got the G7 and you're good to go. The little side note, sometimes I like to play it like this also with my thumb, the A, B7. And then the G7 is already ready here with my usual fingers. But some people like to play with the thumb behind the ukulele, so you can't really use your thumb to do notes if you're doing that. So whatever suits you. And then with these 4 chords, we start singing. You play the chord and then you start singing, as you can see, because the chord falls before the words. Stars, B7 all across, 3rd finger, shining bright above. 1, 3, 2, 3, A, B7, U, G7. You can either slide down or use your usual fingers for that chord, meaning 3rd, 2nd and 4th here. And we continue. Night, C major 7, which means it's just a C but one little step down on the last string. Breezes seem to, and then A7, your index finger on the 2nd string 1st fret. Whisper, I love you. So that again. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. You can also follow the voice with this here if you want, on the last string. Night breezes seem to, and then A7. Whisper, I love you. F, which is 2 open, 1st open. Birds singing in the, and then F minor 6, which is 1, 2, 1, 3. So once again, it's not undoable and it just takes a bit of practice, but it may be a new chord for you. but it's just 1, 2, 1, 3. There you go. Sycamore tree, back to C. Dream a little, A, B7. Dream of me. Pum, 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 pum. Stars shining bright above you. So as you can see from what I was just starting to play here, the rhythm of this can be 2 downstrokes per chord. Except the chords, which you can see here, which have a little slash behind them. In this tutorial, in this particular lesson, it means that chords with a slash are played twice as long, meaning 4 beats. So 2 beats per chord, except if they're double the length, 4 beats. And it'll sound like this. 3, 4. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. 4 ones on those F. Birds singing in the F minor 6. Sycamore trees. 2 beats on C, A flat 7, and then 4 on G7. Dream a little dream of me. 2, 3, 4. And then we're good to continue. Just a little word. You need to be extra careful, because I'm really careful when I make these tabs, where the chords land. Meaning, above what are the chords written? For example, the C at the beginning is not above some lyrics, it's above space, meaning it's not like this. Stars shining bright above you. It's first C, and then stars, and the B7 on the sh, shining bright, and the A flat 7 on the above, and then U on the G7. U on the G7. Above you, C alone. Night breezes seem to do whisper. So I'll just play the last line of this part of the verse, and then we'll move on to the second part of the verse. Dream a little dream of me. 2, 3, 4, and say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight, and A7, tell me you'll miss me, to F, while I'm alone and as blue as can be, and to C, dream a little dream of me. So you see here, it's unlike most of the chords in this song, it's 1 beat per chord on the dream of me, dream of me, a dream of me, and then 2 beats of C, and then 2 beats of E7. And that's to help us move on to the chorus, because the verse is in C and the chorus is in A. Stars fading, but I lit C. So we need a transition, and what brings us into A is this E7. So last line, dream a little dream of me, and then E7, E7 and A. So now we've made it to the chorus, and you can see it's A, stars fading, the F sharp minor on the fading, and the A is before the lyric. So stars, F sharp minor, fading, but I, B minor 7, linger, E7, on dear. So to play the A, it's 2, 1, open, open. The F sharp minor is just stay on the A here, and add your 4th finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Stars fading, B flat minor, it's exactly like the B7, except not. Basically, it's your whole finger across the 2nd frets here, and that's it. That's all. This is a B7, this is a B minor 7. Jaws theme tune. Wasn't written at the time this song was. And E7 is 1, 2, open 2. So let's sing this with 2 down strokes per chord. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear A. Still F sharp craving, your B minor 7, kiss. A, I'm longing to linger till E7 dawn, dear. Just saying, and then there's a return of the A flat 7 and G7. Just just staying there. A little word about the chorus, something that I think is very important. Maybe you don't think so. You can decide. But when it goes, still craving your kiss, I like to have the kiss not on the chord, but because it's something that the person who wrote the lyrics is craving, you can't just give it, right? It's a bit suspended. It's held back. So hold back the kiss, also you. Still craving your kiss. As you can see, kiss does not fall under the chord, but just after that. Still craving your kiss. So this is not advice for your own personal romantic life. This is just a musical point to hold the kisses. I mean, you do whatever you feel like. Oh, and if it's a little bit hard to sing, there's a guideline that you can have here. Stars, you are starting to sing on an A, which is the last string open. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. And if that is hard to sing, on, dear, it's actually here. Da, da, dee, da, da, the third string. Da, dee, da, dee. So it's second fret of the E string to fourth fret of the E string, if you can't find the notes. Meaning, stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. So you can help yourself like this if it's hard for you. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying this. A, B7, G7, and back to C. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. And in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little. And here it's back to the dream of me with the one chord for A, B7, G7. Dream of me, and then a G7. And here we'll now move on to the solo of it all, after we discuss the rhythm and the strumming. So I quite like to strum it very simply because it's going like this, the rhythm basically. Tap, 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 I just like to. So twice, and sometimes coming a bit back up, but not like this, but with a skip. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, if you want to come back up a bit, but it's fine to strum it very simply. And also, because patron Joel really wants to learn how to do this, I'm going to include this particular plucking and strumming that you can learn also. 3, 4. The way this is happening in slow-mo, it's very simple, but it just needs some practice if you're into that kind of strumming pattern. And it's like this. It's before you start on the beat, there's a little note before that, which is with the thumb, and the thumb goes 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, boom. So the beat is on this note, boom, but the thumb goes boom, boom, and then you pluck these two strings, the two bottom strings, E and A, hop, and then you chuck, you hit the strings here. So it goes 3, 4, pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, pop. And what you can do is not really play the first one. So if you play it here on the C, on the B7, this one will not really ring. It will be there for effect. And the second one too. Of course, when it's an open string, you can just play it and let it ring. But it's a nice little effect to have this non-ringing string as a sort of rhythmical effect. Actually, you can play it higher on the bridge if you want, so that your hands don't hit just the strings and emptiness, but actually hit the bridge here, like so. And now the moment that maybe you were probably very much waiting for, the ukulele solo interlude after the first part of the second verse. What's happening here is that you've just got the chords, but also added onto that the melody, which we can play on the ukulele. Luckily for us, it's in C. So, end of the first part of the verse 2. Dream a little dream of me. So C and G7, and then it starts. Here you can hear there's a delay, so there's a rhythmical, cool jazzy delay, but that actually helps you to put your hands there. So, ba, 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 2, da, da, di. That's easy enough, and then the A7s, they're like this on the top 3 strings, and then we change 3 strings, and then back to normal A7 for the very last note of that. So I'll do that slowly. Ba, 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 F. We play an F, and then right after the F, we go all the way up. Ba, da, 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 da. So there's a note here. It's on 5 open 5 5, and then 5 open 4 5. 5 open 5 5. That's an F6, and then F minor 6. So we play an F first to go. To play the melody basically, and then it's the la di da 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 da, and we're actually playing the A flat 7 and G7 all the way up here, same chords as this, but up here. So it's the same sounding chords, but of course different shapes for the hands, for the hands. Sorry, for the fingers. And the whole thing sounds like this, at a real speed. 3, 4. F. A bit more notes, and then onto the A7, A7, F, F up there, and at the end, instead of da da da, it's da 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 da, ba 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 ba, very jazzy. And then at the end of those 2 lengths of the melody, if we can say, an E7. 1, 2, or like this, and then on to the chorus with an A. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. So most of this solo actually falls under the fingers pretty nicely, and falls under or around the chords that we were playing anyway, but there are a couple of exceptions, as we've just seen. There's of course the A7s, but it's important that you hear still the melody being played, meaning this one. And then back to the A7, and the melody is then on the bottom string. And then F and hook, that's quite something that will need a bit of practice. It's doing the F and then sliding up to the 5s. And this is actually a E7 shape, but higher up. Not that high, not that low. Here. And what you can do is also, once you're playing normally and singing at the same time, you can actually incorporate elements of this solo with your accompaniment to make it a bit jazzier. Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore trees, dream a little dream of me. There you go, that's the tutorial for Dream a Little Dream of Me. And remember, if you want to become one of those really awesome people that help me make more of these, despite the amount of time they take me, then you can jump to the Patreon, where you can also get all the lyrics, the tabs and the song sheets for the songs that I do, including this fine one first sang by Monsieur Nelson in 31. So that's it for today. See you soon and bye bye.